You actually believe Marmite and garlic powder are worth almost $45 billion together?
44.8 billion, Nate, but I'll believe that Unilever rumor when I see the actual filings. A mid-2027 close? That's pure banker fantasy.
Hey, don't disrespect the spice rack. But fine, let's talk real money. Biogen just dropped $5.6 billion on Apellis.
All cash too. It's a classic K-shaped market right now. The rich get richer and everyone else gets left on read.
Let's see who else is writing those massive checks. The Rundown. $2.8 billion for MAI Capital Management. Carlyle isn't just dipping a toe into wealth management, they're building an absolute fortress.
It's a brilliant distribution play. You buy the wealth manager, you suddenly have a captive audience for your own private equity products. I was reading through the structure, and the cross-selling projections they bake into these acquisitions are wild.
It's exactly what analysts mean when they talk about this K-shaped M&A market. The massive, well-capitalized firms are executing these strategic megadeals and just pulling completely away from the rest of the pack.
Well, the top of the K is definitely thriving. But speaking of things I thought were dead and buried at the bottom of the K, did you see Crown Reserve is taking Carvix public? A $1 billion SPAC merger. I literally had to check the year on the press release.
Oh, stop. Don't disrespect the SPAC. If the target company is solid, the vehicle still works. $1 billion is a perfectly rational valuation for Carvix.
Nate, please. You sound like a hungover banker from 2021. Blank check companies right now are mostly just sponsors desperate to close literally anything before their 2-year window expires. Show me the redemption rates after the vote, then we can talk about whether it works.
You're brutally cynical today.
I'm data-driven.
Fine, but people are absolutely still writing big checks for passion projects. Rip City Rising just officially grabbed a majority stake in the Portland Trailblazers.
The ultimate ego premium.
Exactly, but if you want a deal that makes actual strategic sense, look at what Legrand just pulled off. A dual acquisition. They bought Kedak in China for the racks and Thiess in Europe for the power systems.
Now that's the kind of deal I love. Total data center infrastructure play. Plus, over in Hong Kong, ASTRI and NAMI just officially merged to create the largest government-funded tech and R&D center in the region. The infrastructure consolidation happening right now is fascinating.
It's the picks and shovels of the tech boom.
I'll be tracking that whole sector tomorrow, right after I dig through the SEC filings on the Eli Lilly and Centessa tie-up. I really want to see the math on that $47 per share price tag.
Well, keep your calculator out because we have a massive top story next. Biogen just dropped $5.6 billion in all cash for Apellis Pharmaceuticals.
Plus, Wall Street is whispering about a $44.8 billion combination of Marmite and spices. We need to talk about Unilever and McCormick. Sandnesmuchon. The big one.
You look at the tape this morning, and it is just massive balance sheet flexing mega deals. The middle market is completely dead, but the giants are out shopping.
Yeah, well, if you have $5.6 billion in cash burning a hole in your pocket, I guess you buy Apellis.
Exactly. Biogen just drops nearly $6 billion, all cash, like it is nothing. It is a total flex.
It is not nothing to their balance sheet, Nate. Honestly, I read the press release and I am genuinely struggling to see the math here. They are paying a massive premium just because they can. It feels entirely defensive.
Defensive? Maya, come on. It is a total power move. They are grabbing a commercial stage asset while the rest of the mid-cap biotech sector is scrambling for funding. That is the definition of offense. You strike when the other guy cannot afford to.
Offense is building a robust internal pipeline. Offense is not overpaying for someone else's pipeline because your own R&D engine is sputtering and you need a quick revenue fix.
Classic tech journalist bias. You want them to invent the iPhone of biotech in a garage. In pharma, you buy the iPhone once someone else builds it. It is faster.
Fine, but it perfectly illustrates what analysts are calling this K-shaped M&A recovery. If you have the capital, you are the upward arm of the K. You are Biogen. You are Carlyle expanding their wealth management footprint by dropping $2.8 billion on MAI Capital Management.
Or Legrand sweeping up Kedak in China and TES in Europe to double down on data center infrastructure. If you have the cash, you are buying the board. If you need financing, you are the downward arm of the K. You are just trying to survive until rates budge.
Right? Private equity is aggressively targeting take privates because they can bridge that valuation gap with pure capital. The constrained players are just left behind.
Speaking of unconstrained capital, we need to talk about the massive whisper number floating around Wall Street right now. 44.8 billion.
Please tell me you are not bringing up the Marmite deal.
Oh, I'm absolutely bringing up the Marmite deal. Unilever and McCormick are reportedly in deep talks to merge their food divisions.
It is just so bizarre. You are combining Old Spice. Wait, no. Actual spices. McCormick spices and Marmite. The synergies do not even make culinary sense, let alone financial sense.
Do not knock Marmite. It is an acquired taste. But seriously, nearly $45 billion. That is a monster combination.
It is a banker's dream and a regulator's nightmare. Even if they sign this tomorrow, I was looking at the antitrust overlap across their global supply chains. You are not seeing an official close until mid-2027, minimum.
The regulatory lawyers are going to make an absolute fortune. It is basically a 4-year annuity for antitrust attorneys.
Which is exactly why I prefer deals that actually have a chance of closing this decade. Tomorrow, I want to dig into this data center infrastructure consolidation trend. Legrand is moving fast, and we need to check the math on Ecolab's $4.75 billion play.
Plus, we finally get the SEC filings on the Eli Lilly and Centessa tie-up tomorrow. I really need to see the fine print to confirm the final premium on that $47 per share price tag. Voices. I am so tired of the letter K. Every analyst note on my desk this morning is calling this a K-shaped M&A market.
The big guys doing strategic megadeals pull up, while the capital-constrained middle market sinks down. They are not wrong, Nate. Look at Biogen dropping $5.6 billion in all cash for Apellis. You only do that if your balance sheet is bulletproof.
Sure, but calling it K-shaped makes it sound like some elegant macroeconomic trend. It is just the haves and the have-nots. Industry watchers are pointing out that private equity is doing the exact same thing. They are aggressively targeting public companies for take-privates to bypass these valuation gaps.
Wait, you actually buy that narrative? That the valuation gaps are just sitting there waiting to be unlocked?
I do. The public markets are punishing perfectly good companies right now.
Half these take-privates are just PE firms trying to deploy dry powder before their LPs start asking uncomfortable questions.
Oh, come on. Carlyle just dropped $2.8 billion to buy MAI Capital. That is not just spending to spend. That is a highly targeted wealth management land grab.
Fine. I will give you Carlyle. But if you want to talk about the top of the K completely detaching from reality, we need to talk about the spice aisle.
You mean the Unilever and McCormick whisper?
$44.8 billion. For a food division merger, they want to combine Marmite and Old Bay, and they are already modeling a mid-2027 close because of regulatory scrutiny.
Mid-2027? By the time that deal closes, my kid will be in middle school. As a former banker, the advisory fees on a 3-year regulatory slog sound absolutely glorious.
I am sure they do, but regulators are going to tear that food monopoly apart, just like they are going to scrutinize this massive wave of data center consolidation we are seeing.
Which is exactly why we need to look at Legrand's dual acquisitions tomorrow and see if Eli Lilly's SEC filings actually justify that $47 share price. Spill the tea. So the whisper number floating around on this Unilever McCormick thing is $44.8 billion.
I literally choked on my coffee when I saw that rumor. Marmite and Old Bay seasoning under one roof. It's a crime against flavor.
Hey, don't disrespect the Old Bay. But seriously, almost $45 billion to merge their food divisions. It makes perfect sense if you look at the shelf space monopoly they'd get.
Does it make perfect sense? Because I'm looking at the regulatory timeline being floated and it's completely ridiculous. Mid-2027.
Antitrust takes time in this environment. You know that.
3 years, Nate. 3 years of lawyers billing $1,000 an hour to argue about mayonnaise and paprika. The bankers are pitching a synergy dream that's going to be entirely eaten by legal fees.
You're being way too cynical. This is a classic defensive play. The grocery aisles are shrinking. You either bulk up or you get squeezed out by private label brands.
I'm not being cynical, I'm reading the room. The FTC is going to look at this and see a condiment cartel. There's zero chance this sails through without massive divestitures.
Condiment cartel, that's actually amazing. I might steal that. But look, this K-shaped deal market is completely real. The big guys with fortress balance sheets are pulling away from everyone else. Unilever has the cash, McCormick has the spice.
And the regulators have the final say. I'll bet you a very expensive dinner this deal either dies quietly in 6 months or shrinks by half.
You're on. I'm taking you to that steakhouse you pretend to hate when I win.
Make it sushi.
Done. Speaking of massive cash piles and aggressive buyers, we need to talk about what's happening in the healthcare and infrastructure space tomorrow.
Right. Eli Lilly is supposed to drop the official SEC filings on that Centessa tie-up, and I need to see the actual premium on that $47 share price. Plus, we need to dig into Legrand doubling down on data centers. The power grab is getting real. Nah, tomorrow's radar.
Okay, but you can't ignore the Unilever and McCormick whispers. $44.8 billion to combine Marmite and Old Bay seasoning? That's a wild flavor profile.
I'm ignoring it because a mid-2027 target close date is pure fantasy. The regulators are going to laugh that out of the room. It's just bankers billing hours, Nate.
Oh, come on. It perfectly fits this K-shaped market we're seeing. The giants are just pulling away to do these massive strategic plays while everyone else is stuck in the mud.
Maybe. But tomorrow I'm actually looking for real paper. We should finally get the SEC filings on the Eli Lilly and Centessa tie-up. I want to see the actual math behind that $47 a share price tag. The real premium is always hiding in the footnotes.
Spoken like a true journalist. I'll be watching the data center space. Legrand scooping up KEDAC and TES is just the start of the infrastructure land grab.
Assuming the power grids can handle it. We'll track the filings and see who's actually writing checks tomorrow.